And Tyson's fighting the guy that has beaten AJ twice.
Boxing fans here in Birmingham. I was going to say Riyadh for whatever reason. In Birmingham with Frank Warren. Frank, how are you, sir? How's things?
I'm good, young man. How are you doing?
I'm good. All the better for seeing yourself. Looking good as always. Let's talk about this card. Magnificent 7 again. Big
Rides
card.
again?
It rides again. Big card, this one. Obviously, you've got Nathan Heaney. I want to talk about Nathan Heaney. A lot of people saying, look, this guy sells tickets. He's a ticket seller. That's all he is. But he showed against Denzel Bentley. What more?
He's a world-class fighter. And Denzel, when he challenged for the world title, which was it, one fight before that, one or two fights before that, he took the world champion, the guy who was considered the best. He took him the distance, and had he started earlier in those first 4 rounds, I think he could have won it. So, looking at the fight that Denzel had then with Nathan, he prepares really well for these fights, and each fight he's had, he's got better and better, and he boxed extremely well in that, and he's there for a reason. He's there because he prepares well, he fights well, and where he's at now for me, I think he's just getting better and better.
Do you want to move on and talk about Joyce, a big juggernaut, his bike? A lot of people, had him written off. Boxing is a very fickle sport at times. Same thing happened to Joshua, had a couple of losses. 2 fights later, knocks 2 people out. He's number 1. Joyce lost twice against possibly his bogeyman in Zhilei Zhang. And people are writing him off saying maybe he should retire. What's going to happen with Joe?
Well, you said it. I mean, that's what's been happening. I mean, he got stopped, but that stoppage, the first one, was because of the eye. He didn't get knocked. It wasn't that he got knocked out. And I think, anyway, but the second one certainly was. As looking at it, Joe stopped Joe Parker. Joe Parker wins the decision over Zhilei Zhang. And so, the bottom line is anything can happen with these heavyweights. What Cash Ali said up there is quite true. One big punch can change the fight, the dynamic of a heavyweight fight. And it's an exciting division at the moment. But for Joe, he can't afford to lose this fight. I mean, if he loses this one, it'll be a hard climb back.
How much would it mean to you for Joe to get into that mix in Riyadh? Because we see some of the big boys in
I want him in there. As a person, I like Joe. I think he's a great advert for the boxing. I think he's the most decorated amateur heavyweight we've had, and he's done everything. He's just great for the game, and I want to see him re-establish himself. I want to see him get back into a big fight, and the way it's all shaping up for what happens after May the 18th, when the 2 undefeated champions get in the ring and face up each other, it's going to be interesting times. And these guys, I mean, they're all finding a lease of life each time round. I mean, they're all really, really, pulling it out the bag. People you write off, as you said earlier, or saying they're over, they're not. They're coming back into it.
Liam Davies in a tough fight, IBO world title on the line. Talks to me about, they've sort of emphasised on him fighting a new sparring partner, but it's a tough fight for him.
He's got a tough fight there. I mean, we see what he did against Lee McGregor, so you've got a form line there. And as for Liam, he's done everything that's been asked of him. He's won, was it British, Commonwealth, European? He's done absolutely brilliant each time.
Quickly on Dennis McAn, a lot of people like boxing is. He fought somebody very tough in Baluta, and a lot of people say, listen, he might have even lost that. Comes into a tough fight against Bradley Strand. I'm sure at some point you want to get that fight with Baluta back on.
Well, he suffered from a bad cut, and he did, and it was what it was. But this fight, I won't even look at Baluta at the moment. These two, Brad's not coming to make up the numbers. He comes from a very good stable of fighters. The same stable as Nick Ball. Paul Stevenson's the manager and trainer, and he's done an excellent job with all these fighters. This is a tough fight. And they're both undefeated. It's an interesting fight, and it could be fight of the night.
Lastly from myself, I do want to ask you about the man of the moment, Anthony Joshua. A lot of talk about him, a lot of visuals on social media regarding that knockout. Is he in a better place than he was 18 months ago? And does that fight with your fighter Tyson Fury become a little bit closer, a little bit more for people to say, listen, maybe this is more of a 50-50?
Yeah, he is in a better place, no doubt about it. A lot of people were saying that he'd seen better days, including myself. I hold my hands up to that. but he's got a couple of good wins coming back. He had a spectacular stoppage last Saturday at the, Riyadh last event of the Riyadh season, and done it in style. And now he's just got to keep continuing to do that until, and I believe Tyson wins that world title, and if there's a rematch and Tyson comes through that as well, then there's a brilliant fight there to be made. But obviously AJ will be looking at getting a crack at the world champion, whoever he may be. But if it's Tyson, which I believe it will be down the road, I think that's going to be a great fight.
Is that fight just going to, obviously don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. May 18th is the fight that everyone's looking forward to, first of all. But Eddie's saying he's got the number one heavyweight in the world. You're saying you've got the best number one heavyweight in the world. Is that just going to conclude things?
Let me tell you where we are. I believe I've got the best. I believe Tyson's the lineal champion. He's the best heavyweight man. He's undefeated. And Tyson's fighting the guy that has beaten AJ twice. And he's undefeated. Usyk. So the two best heavyweights in the world, ranked by anybody, whoever you think's one or two out of those, the two best heavyweights are fighting each other, and we will find out who's the best. And if anybody wants to beat the best, the winner of that, when they get into the ring, they beat them, they'll be the best. Till then, they're not the best.
I want to quickly ask you, Daniel Dubois, he's been missing from Riyadh, and we know that he's got to make a comeback at some point, but what's the latest with him, and when do we expect him to be back in the ring?
We're going to have some great news for him. Some great news.
Final one before I let you go. You've been around at the time of Mike Tyson being at his prime. We see Mike Tyson actually fighting, people calling him a YouTuber, but Jake Paul. What did you make of that when you saw that news? Well,
look, I don't like the idea of a 58-year-old guy fighting, and I like Jake Paul, and I like Nikita, his manager. Like him, get on with him. But I can't be saying something different than I was been saying for years. Fighting is not for guys that age. But look, if it's being well supervised and all the stuff that goes with it, I can't stop them from doing it. Nobody can stop them. They're old enough and smart enough to know what they're doing, and just hope that whatever it is, that nobody gets hurt badly.
Frank Warren, sir, always a pleasure talking to yourself, no doubt. I'll speak to you soon.
Pleasure.
And looking dapper as always. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.